Yes.
His shots ring from the woods. Take on 45.
Beautiful, huh? Yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from Planet of the Apes. No, from Tennessee, the home of Alvin York. And I hate to even mention his name in the presence of this whatever it is, contraption. Yes, glad you're here. Glad you made it. And glad I made it to another week, through another week. And I'm feeling a whole lot better. And so that's much to the sadness of maybe a few, but most of you are glad that I'm healthy and I'm back at it. I hope. And, well, I know that's true. And we really appreciate you all tuning in, really do. Because how many days, how many times do you get an opportunity to see somebody shoot a Hi-Point Carbine? Right, such a fine firearm. I've had a lot of nice firearms in my life. I've been fortunate to have like just beautiful Mauser, all matching K98 Mausers and things like that. Old Winchester lever guns, you know, Civil War rifles that are in really nice shape, but nothing quite comes close to a Hi-Point carbine. And I shouldn't joke about it, should I? Because the carbines have a pretty good reputation. But I still think they look like the firearms out of the Planet of the Apes, the original kind of. So anyway, that's what I think of when I see one. This is 10 millimeter. Yeah, I thought I'd try it out. I haven't shot it a few times, and you know, we want to shoot it some more and figure out the sights. I adjusted the sights. It was shooting high, and I adjusted the sights some. So I don't know. I'm not sure I could hit the gong with it for some reason. But anyway, I'm trying to get a feel for where to hold, and if I need to adjust the sights before we do a video again, or a video with it. And the problem with it is it was shooting high, which means I need to lower the rear sight a little more, which you can do. But the problem with this sucker is I cannot get down on it as it is, really. I should put a big red dot sticking up on it, really is what it needs to shoot it a lot. But I wasn't going to do that with this. So I lowered the rear sight some before I came over here, and I don't know, I thought maybe it'd be about enough. We'll see. Shoot a little bit more. Yeah, man, here we are. That a little more. How about that? And it's 10 millimeter again, 10 millimeter. That's kind of the attraction. I even bought a couple extra mags. It comes with one magazine. And I thought, oh man, it's really hard enough to do a video on this thing, and with one magazine. So I bought a couple. Where did I buy them? Gun Mag Warehouse or something. Ordered them online. I couldn't find any in gun shops, and I'd looked locally several places. So anyway, yeah, they get the Hi-Point carbine, and specifically, it's see what the model is. 1095 is the model number on that. For those of you who own them, you know what I'm talking about. Also brought out an AR I hadn't shot for a while. That was really what I was wanting to shoot, the old Recce. And this is the Recce 16 KMR. And I just haven't had it out for a while, so I'm going to take a few shots with it to limber it up. I know, politically incorrect, right? Gosh, AR-15s. AR-15, what an evil firearm. Doesn't matter that more people are killed with hands and feet than there are rifles of any kind. You know, we still have to demonize firearms that just look bad. To some people, they don't look bad to us, do they? So that's the way people are. It's human nature. People believe what they want to believe, right? They hear what they want to hear. And if their favorite politicians are saying it, they believe it, right? So I might take a few shots with that thing. In fact, I will take a few shots with that thing. Sure will. And boy, I've had a crazy day. Speaking of that, really appreciate the people who make these, as well as other cool little Kydex concealment holsters inside the waistband, outside, purse holsters. I have 5 for my purses. I don't know about you all, because I have a lot of different purses, colors, and sizes. I like my Kydex to match my purse. But they do make those, and great little holster maker, I tell you. Alabama holster. Glad to have them on board. Put my gun back in it. All right. Can I go ahead and shoot the AR-15? Okay. You won't tell anybody I have an AR-15, will you? I hope not. Am I recording? I better be. Okay. I hate to say stupid stuff if nobody's hearing it. Right? That's my motto. Always make sure somebody's hearing you say stupid stuff. In that magazine, I put too many in it. I typically don't load, I know why, that one doesn't have the winder in it. I load 28, usually 29 rounds, so I don't have to fight to get them in. All right, I even fired this for a while. That's why I wanted to get it out. Do y'all remember where the sights are, where the hole? That's same old me, huh? Haven't changed a bit. Well, let's just start out with something I can probably hit, like a green 2-liter. The stock seems short or something there. Yeah, it seemed extra short to me. All right. Try a red plate over there, see if I can hit the vicinity. It's loud. That's a good thing I got it out. Looks like I need to work on the sights a little bit. Let me move it up a little bit. There we go. We're always learning together. Relearning in my case, because I'm so dumb. Yeah, I had to hold on the top. Right there. All right. 2-liter. It's got the reason I'm taking so long to sight is I'm not very smart, but also has a really fine front sight on it. You really have to find that sucker. I might need to paint that one for sure. I don't know, I haven't done it yet. Yeah, man, who makes those sights? Oh, there's just Mag Pros, Mag Plus Pros. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I still like metallic sights, metal sights, but those, yeah, man. That's right. I think I actually messed with those, and I got them moved as much as I could really move it. Still have a pretty good post, and I actually have to hold higher than I like with these sights. Yeah, it's coming back to me now. I don't really like holding on the very top of that plate over there to hit it. So I may get some different iron sights, or I don't know, put a red dot on it. Not sure. Kind of like to have a few around with just metal sights. It's what I learned on. It's what I shoot a lot. So pretty cool. It's a nice rifle. Nice rifle. Yeah. Yeah. I'm totally negative in terms of the virus, the bug, and have been for a few days. But yeah, it actually did hit me. I was not feeling that great last week, and sometimes you don't realize. You think you're okay, because I felt a little bit. I still had feverish at night, and was still positive last time you saw me. And I could tell. I think the first part, like I said, I had the watery eyes and all that, watery brain, and so yeah, I was still in the throes of it, and more than I realized, because as a couple of days later, 3, whatever, and you start to feel okay. Yeah, I do feel a little better, a little stronger, not weak and everything, and. You don't realize until you get out of it sometimes, do you? You don't realize how bad you felt until you feel better. You know, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing. But anyway, as I may have said, it's not one of those deals where I thought it would be the case when I finally got it, because everybody gets it eventually, that it might be some real mild cold that I don't even know for sure whether it was, and not a big deal, you know, and don't even test because it's got a sniffles or something. Maybe that was it. That's all. Since my immune system apparently is really strong, I really thought that's what would probably happen if I got it. But no, I had the real deal, you know, so pretty bad for a few days. So there's no question about that. Plus I tested, you know, yeah. So anyway, I didn't have, so that's that. Nothing unique about that, is it? It's almost everybody on the planet has encountered it somewhere. I still have a friend though that has not had it. He and I were the only people I think almost that we knew who hadn't had it. Now he's the last survivor. Yeah, man. What else? I don't know. Well, don't forget all the folks that help us. Like I say, you know, Ballistol, Talon grips. You know, everybody's on the tar. Got some 5.56 Remington I bought in 1999. A couple of cases of that, and never have broken them open. You know, and just I always get it by a head. It's never any cheaper. You know, it rarely ever comes down, does it? Always going up. So, what else do you want to know about? Anything? You know, I talked last week about, I don't know if I should confess or not, about, you know, finances and that kind of thing. I was going to talk actually more last week about cars and stuff, and again, advice to young people or anybody, because I have taken the bite, bought a car recently. Since I talked to you last, sort of, I took delivery on it just today, but it just brings up another little nerdy thing about me when I get my spreadsheet going and calculator and everything. I have, and I this is kind of an advice thing too, is to calculate your transportation costs. You may not even realize what you're spending on transportation, and you may be perfectly happy with it. You know, like me. And when I talk about budgets and stuff, I'm not a financial advisor, but when I talk about things like that, I might be the biggest violator in a lot of ways in terms of what I spend money on. But the difference is, like I've said, I do it intentionally. I know what I'm spending. That's the thing. I know how much I'm spending on something, even if I am overspending. Even if you would think I am an idiot for spending so much money on whatever it might be, then that's fine. But at least I know what I'm spending. I know how much money I have in various categories to waste on certain things. You know, if I want to consider it waste, at least I know how much I have to waste, and it will not cause me to miss meals or miss mortgage payments, whatever, my many expenses. Everybody has lots of expenses, right? Electricity, gas, and all the things you do. But I know at least, and that's what I advise you to have a budget. Just so you know, you don't have to change it. Maybe you look at it and say, wow, I'm spending a fortune on that, but that's okay. At least now I know exactly what I'm spending and whether I have enough to be spending that much. You know, that's kind of the point of all that. But I used to analyze and still do, but with cars, what it costs to trade cars and to have a new car, whatever, every 2, 4, 5, 6 years, whatever it is, what kind of money that costs, the depreciation, that kind of stuff. That was interesting, because at one point I was considering leasing. I mean, I know it's a stupid thing to do, generally speaking, and it costs more and all that sort of thing. But I was spending a lot on cars and anyway, and a lot of things. You know, well, let me at least look at the lease. You know, so I got numbers on that several years back. And I've been driving I know some of you still see my old Element or different cars, but I've been driving Yukons, you know, for quite a few years now. I'm on my third one. But anyway, I take a car, and they're sort of apples to apples, you know, whenever I get a new one. They're kind of the same car, kind of the same category, expense-wise, and all that sort of thing to operate. And so I would just run the numbers, okay? If I keep this for 2 years, I know what it's going to be worth. I mean, you can check that with ballpark. You know what it's going to be worth with X number of miles on it, what the trade-in value is going to be, what a new one's cost, and different things. And you just look at the, now you're not exact to the dollar, right? But you can kind of tell, okay, so this is what it's going to cost me, and if I keep this one for 3 years, or if I traded it 4 years, the difference in cost and value and all that kind of thing. And you can run the numbers. So I actually had a number of what it was costing me to drive a Yukon Denali generally every month to own it, to own it, really over a period of years. So I traded in 2 or 3 years, I get another one. And what is it actually costing me? You're figuring the money for the new one and all that stuff, and you can also add insurance and all that kind of. But I was just looking at the depreciation and what it's costing me to drive a nice car like this and keep a relatively newer one. Okay. And so I had it down to the number. I knew what it was costing me for transportation. And then so in a car that fits me and that I like. And I just advise everybody to do that. Run the numbers, see what it costs. And again, sometimes you're surprised. I know I grew up with the notion, generally speaking, that you need to run the wheels off that car, because that's what I'd always done. Because you're paying so much for new and all that kind of thing, or you need to keep them for 5 years, or you keep them for 3 years, or if you don't trade in before 6 years, don't trade it in, or keep it till it won't run anymore. You've got all those theories out there, and some people probably have studied it more than I have, and actually have some valid points they can make about that. But basically, there's no way to win. You don't win. It costs a lot of money to keep a vehicle running. We all know that, and to keep one that's not too old, that is reliable, it costs even more. And so the more often quicker you trade them in, the more it's costing you, right? But how much more? And I did determine that it's not like you're a total fool for just keeping a car for a couple of years and then trading it on a new one or selling it in a new one. You're not a total fool. The person who keeps theirs for 5 or 6 years and then does that seems to be wiser and more, money wise and all that kind of thing. It might be, but the difference is not as much as we think it is. It's just not. You're getting into lots of repairs and things, and you get out a couple, 3, 4, 5 years, and you have some pretty big bills on them, just some repairs, just to maintain what you got. Kind of offset some of that difference and all that kind of thing. Like, for example, I had mine for 4 years this time, part of it because of COVID, for 4 years, and I was looking around, and when it, of course, about a month and a half ago, they couldn't align the front end without replacing the struts and however all that entanglement is. And so I had $3,000 bang, new struts and stuff. And of course, I had well over 200,000 miles on it, so it's not like I was depressed. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with my car? Well, a lot of miles on it, had for 4 years. But you get things like that start to happen, and so, it's just, there's no way to win, but at least run the numbers. Be a little bit of a math nerd. That's my advice. Be a little bit of a math nerd. And I'm not a mathematician, I was an English major, but I enjoy running those numbers, especially when they affect me. Can I shoot another magazine of 10 millimeter? You're going to get a better idea where to hold this thing. Okay. Wow. Thank God for Hi-Point. It makes you appreciate a really ergonomic firearm. All right, I'm going to hold on the Cowboy, see if I can figure out where to hold here. I think it still shoots high. I'm having a hard time finding the sights over here. Partly it's just the lighting, a lot of it. And this is not my gun. I don't want to paint the sights. I have no excuse on the Recce. I should have painted the sights on it. Yeah, it's popping high. Yep, I held down a little bit more and hit the gong. Okay, wow. How much more am I going to have to? I'm going to put the safety on, and I might adjust them one more time here. I don't know. That's part of the reason I brought them out. Sorry, I had to run to my toolbox to get one of these. Let me screw that down a little. I don't know if that, yeah, I'm thinking right, I believe. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, if it's shooting high, higher than you want, you'd want to lower the rear sight. Okay? So, I'm not thinking wrong, am I? Nope. Okay. That's a little better, I think. Other than the fact that I just can't find the sight. I'm gonna move it a little more. Don't mind me. This is what I need to do. Yeah. Okay. What about you, hog? All right. That is better. That is better. Boy, it's just, I hate not to paint that sight because I can't find it. And it just blends in and with the shadows. So I've got sight paint. That's why I'm so tempted to paint everything. I've discovered this birchwood casey, these little sight paint pens kind of thing. Shake them up and like a big marker, big magic marker of some kind. And they just work great, But I hate to paint somebody else's sight. I really hate to do that. Oh man. What else was I gonna blab about here? I'll tell you one thing. It hit me. I could rant. I think we have learned over the last 10 years, regardless of political party and all that kind of thing. I think we all have learned in the last a lot in the last few years, haven't we, about who the totalitarians are. And before that, we weren't really thinking as much that way, I think. And we let a lot of things slide through. I think we did because we just sort of trusted people too much, maybe. Some of you might remember the days of old when they started changing washing machines so they would not use so much water. Supposed to save the world. We got all the water we need in Tennessee, lots more. But here we have washing machines that don't wash the clothes. You got to run them through 2 or 3 times. Same with commodes that won't flush. You got to flush them like 3 or 4 times. You're really saving a lot of water when you have to do that, aren't you? And what else? All kinds of appliances like that are supposedly more efficient. And it doesn't work out that way. You end up using more water or whatever it is that you're using. And of course now the pressure on gas stoves, And I think we got caught off guard on a lot of this early on. Just didn't realize. Well, I mean, I know that's my understanding. Really, they're redoing whatever it is, commodes, or why won't they flush? Or the washing machines wash clothes, and well, that's a new design. And okay, I guess somebody's done the research on this. The engineers have figured this out that maybe that you don't need quite as much water, and if you're using the right amount of soap or the right kind of soap and the right load of clothes, that it's okay. You sort of trust people, who come to those gigantic decisions, really. Changing some appliance that has been working the way it's worked for 50 years or more. And we sort of, okay, it's kind of inconvenient. It doesn't seem to work as well. It must just be me. Maybe it's working just as well. It's just something I'm not doing right. Well, I think we have figured out now. Now we can go back, knowing what we know from the last few years and what's trying to be pushed on us now, all the time. Now we got it. There's just a lot of crazies out there. There's a lot of loonies out there who have been able to get things changed that don't need to be changed, that don't make sense, you know. So we sort of have figured that out now, haven't we? And hopefully we're able to put up some roadblocks on crazy things like that. If you, for example, if you've ever cooked with gas versus, and I'm not a chef, you know, but I fry eggs every morning, bacon, you know. I cook breakfast literally almost every morning, and I can fry an egg. You want an egg over medium, I'm your man, and all that, and you know, and you know, of course, I warm up soup or whatever I might be doing on the stove. I can cook a few things, but I mean, gas stoves, man, they spoil you. That's why you hear such an outcry from, you know, professional cookers, chefs, you know, that they're not giving up their gas stove. Neither am I. Neither am I. If I have to hook up a propane tank, whatever I had to do, not giving up on a Coleman stove. You know, I'd be frying eggs on gas and whatever else. But anyway, we need to all be on the lookout for the loonies. You know, trying to control everything, and it's just my little rant on that. It caught us off guard in the past. We shouldn't be caught off guard now. I mean, it should be pretty clear. We sort of know how people can be, right, and how they are, and very little common sense, right? Do I have another? Yeah, I do. Let me try this fine Hi-Point again. I'm going to see if I can. I might have it kind of figured out in decent shape. All right. Now the big attraction to this, I think, is this 10 millimeter. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Come on. Oh man, I got a double feed. What a fine piece of machinery. Okay. Got extra ammo. All right, let's try that again. There we go. All right, there's a plate that ain't been hit yet. Yeah, that's closer. That's not too bad. Oh, I can't see the sight. Just can't see it. You cowboy. These are blowback, big old heavy bolt blowback. Well, I hate to paint that sight for video, but I'm tempted. Maybe I'll do that. I think most people really wouldn't care. You know, people tell me that all the time. Yeah, go ahead and paint the sights, or just the sights. Do what you want to the gun. They even want me to sign the guns, you know, kind of thing. And I feel like I'm ruining a firearm signing it. I'd be happy to sign boxes and, you know, draw a picture, a funny face on it, whatever anybody wants. It's just I feel like I'm defacing the firearm. It's one thing when people come up to meet and greet or something with a gun and want me to write on it, you know, or a magazine or a box, a gun pouch or something. That's one thing. But, you know, to do it without somebody asking, that's a little bit of a leap. A little bit of a leap, don't you think? Yeah. So, anything else important to know? I tell you, I don't know, I had a couple of things I was going to talk about last week and I didn't, but I don't know. Yeah, nothing all that important, right? One thing about I will say, the last pocket gun I'd ever sell, I've seen a few comments about that and different conversations about that, and the revolver versus the SIG and all that kind of thing. Well, you know, so I have the my classic today, you know, pocket. And a lot of days I do, some days I don't. But I'm not saying in that video that this is the very best pocket gun, according to me. Not even in my opinion, that this is the ultimate pocket gun over all those others. I'm not really saying that when I select a revolver. I'm not selecting this revolver because I'm an old guy. Although I have shot revolvers a lot, and I like revolvers. I'm going to carry the best thing. I like the SIG P365 and others, you know, and the 43X Glock and different guns. And like I said, that they're part of my rotation. So I might just as likely be carrying the P365. But so it's really in the context of if I literally had to just have one would serve all the purposes. You know, just like anything else, just one won't serve every purpose ideally necessarily. But in terms of compromise, if I'm going to compromise with one, let's say the P365 XL, which is the one I carry really, in a lot of ways it's better, but then for any occasion, any dress, anything you're wearing, this one is always okay, basically. This one's always okay. It will always work. That's kind of where that's coming from. I'm not saying it's better than all those other firearms, really, but I would probably go with it if I could just keep one, because there's no time when this one wouldn't work. That's kind of what it comes down to, but there are times when I consider the SIG better, or the Glock. Yeah, feel better about having it. Okay, so there you go. Just wanted to make a comment about that. Can I shoot the AR one more time before I let you all bug out? Yeah, it's funny. Today I happen to have, and that's the advantage of bringing these things out when I see them or in the mood. I'm reminded about sight issues that I might have with a firearm, and I don't have to have the perfect sight on every gun I have because I have a lot of firearms, but I at least like to know my limitations, the negatives on specific ones. So if I had to pick up and go to battle in the middle of the night, suddenly jump in a helicopter, I wouldn't grab this one because of the sight setup. Now that's the only reason I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, I've got lots of good ones, but yeah, I'd probably want a red dot on or just a different set of sights. All right, let's take a couple more with this thing. A couple of bowling pins, maybe. Woo, doggy. Nice. Yeah, got to really find that sight. Found that one. Pound that gong. Pound that gong. Nothing like a good AR. Nice. And everybody knows BCM makes good ones, right? So I will let you go. I don't want to belabor the point, whatever that point is. Really appreciate y'all, supporting the channel, the people that support us, and just coming around finding videos. There's a lot of options these days. Lots of people making videos. Wow. So I watch a lot of videos and a lot of stuff on my phone, and there's just so many things to attract our attention, right? And interesting things and informational things. Lots to learn. We got the knowledge of the world in our fingertips. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? So anyway, so appreciate you taking the time to come around and find us, right? Because that's kind of what you have to do these days. So many gun videos are not recommended. They don't show, if you don't come look for us, a lot of you don't find us, the way that is now. So appreciate you doing that, and make sure you're subscribed and click the bell and all those things that everybody else is always reminding you of, and we never do. But so keep track, and I'll keep track of you too. Okay? Yeah, I will. You don't know it, but I can see exactly what you're doing. Life is good.